kitchen. Today I'll be showing you how to make biscuits and gravy and telling you about what the Civil War soldiers ate. But first I'd like to give you some background information on the Civil War. The Union and Confederates were the two sides for the Civil War. They were both responsible for getting their soldiers food. They were pretty much helping the soldiers survive. The Confederate Army had less food than the Union, so the North had an advantage. Now we're going to prepare the biscuits, and you need 2 cups of flour, 3/4 cup of buttermilk, 1/4 cup of Crisco, and now you stir it in. Now you put it on the counter and knead it until a dough forms, and then you roll it out and cut it into circles. After rolling it out into a 1/4 inch thickness, you're gonna want to cut circles out for the biscuits.
The season's first Arctic blow may be approaching, but with a boat to buy into, Jake plans to head out anyway.
I'm all fired up and ready to go.
Now you put the biscuits in the oven at 400 degrees for 15 minutes. The biscuits are cooking. I'll tell you about the quality of the food. They didn't know what nutrition was, so they weren't getting enough of it, and they only were limited to healthy food, and the food wasn't high quality and it didn't usually taste good. The basics they got were meat, sugar, coffee, and biscuits. Now for the gravy, you need to prepare the pork by frying it and adding salt and pepper. While the pork is cooking, I'll talk about how the soldiers preserved their food. The meat was salted or smoked, the fruit and vegetables were dried or canned, and they got fresh vegetables like potatoes, carrots, onions, and turnips. Now for the gravy, you need to prepare the pork by frying it and adding salt and pepper. While the gravy is thickening, I'll tell you about how the food was gathered for the soldiers. The commissionary department gathered the food for them. Sometimes the soldiers would starve when the food was hard to gather. The food gathered was pretty plain and there was little variety, but lots of fresh meat. The biscuits and gravy is done cooking, and now I'm going to tell you about the rations. The South got standard rations like sugar, coffee, and tobacco. Sometimes the rations were generous. When they were generous rations, they got beans, bacon, and beef, and the rations were always given uncooked. This is my final product of biscuits and gravy.